Hi class, so welcome to the last unit and congratulations on finishing Essay 3. So even though we're only halfway done with the calendar, of the 6 weeks, we've only done 3 weeks, you're 3/4 of the way done with the essays. So that's a huge accomplishment and I want to congratulate you on that. And this video will explain how the next unit is going to go. And you'll see, I think, why we're going to take so much more time with this unit than we have with the other ones. I know we've been keeping up a really fast pace, and that's in part so that we could slow down for this unit and take the time we need for you to write a really good paper and also do a lot of reading. So let me start off by talking about the theme of the unit and the paper you'll be writing. And then I'll kind of walk you through step by step how the next few weeks are going to go. So first of all, the theme. So this last unit is getting, we've been talking about different social issues in American society. And in this last unit, we're going to go a little deeper and it's going to be a little more sensitive. We're going to be talking about real political issues and really looking at politics in particular. So I've been very happy so far with how respectful everyone is being of each other, and I know I'm sure, very many different views represented in this class. There are a lot of us here, and yet people, I think, are being really respectful of each other. So it's going to be extra important to keep that up over the next few weeks. So we're reading a book called Strangers in Their Own Land, which is a very recent book. It was published shortly after the election of Donald Trump, but the research was done before the election. And it's about a particular part of the American political spectrum, which is the far right, or very conservative people. In particular, a group called the Tea Party, which is not an official party in our democracy. We only have a few official parties, but it's a social group, and it's an ideological group that's called the Tea Party. And this book is about that part of the political spectrum. And it's written by a woman from Berkeley, from UC Berkeley, who's a sociologist. And, being from Berkeley, lives in an environment that is very different from the environment she goes to study, which is rural Louisiana, which is a very much more conservative environment than the Bay Area is. And so this book is very much about the political divide, how hard it is for people from the Bay Area to speak to people from Louisiana, or how hard it is for people on the right to speak to those on the left, and vice versa. Increasingly so, and it looks at that, how that divide works. So what you're going to be writing about in your paper is one particular issue that you choose, and there's a list of particular issues that I'd like you to use that might come up in the book, and that you'll be doing more research on as well. This is a research paper. So another thing I should say is that the book talks a lot about the environment, and the environment as a political issue that helps us understand the sort of more deeply held views of people who are very conservative. And the environment is a big issue in the book, but you are not going to be writing about the environment in your paper. You will be writing about another topic. Okay, I want to make that clear right away. Okay, so as you can see, as we get into these issues, respect is super important. Respect for each other. And another thing I'd like to say is that in this unit, though we're talking about these very difficult and touchy subjects, I'm not asking you at any point to share your political views. Remember that the goal of analysis is not so much to talk about yourself, but to talk about something else you're looking at. And this paper, too, is not for you to share with me your political views, but to talk about the views that you see out there. And so there's no point in this unit where you are going to be required to say, this is what I think about abortion or something like that. That is not what we're doing here. If you would like to, if you think it's relevant to share your own views in a discussion post or in your essay for that matter, you are very welcome to do so. But just know that that is not required of you. And if you do find that you see someone else's political views online that you disagree with, I would just remind you to be respectful and to remember those etiquette rules that are posted in the orientation for this course at the very top of the modules page. And if you feel like engaging with someone about those views. All right. So I think that's enough to say about that. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is how this unit's going to work sort of week by week. So I've just opened the whole module, but you'll see that weeks 5 and 6, many of the items are not open yet. They will open on the Friday before. What you can look at right away is the prompt for the paper, and I would recommend that you do that so that you know as you're reading the book exactly what you're looking for. And it's going to be really important that you annotate your book to help you with the essay. And so look at the essay now, think about which topics you might be interested in, and then you can read the book with those issues in mind. Okay? All right, so first of all, I'm looking at the modules here. First of all, and you can open those in another tab and follow along with me if you like. First of all, you should notice that there's no lecture in week 4. There's no quiz. We're going to be focusing more on the reading because you have a lot to get done. So on Monday, you'll see that you've got a discussion post to do that doesn't require having done the reading yet. So you can start on that right away. But then by Wednesday, you have chapters 1 through 8, the preface, and chapters 1 through 8 of the book. And then you can do discussion post 2. On Thursday, you have a peer review, which is some teal paragraphs, but since we don't have a thesis yet, I'm calling them T paragraphs. So topic, sentence, evidence, and analysis. And you've got a prompt for that. And that's the peer review, and you'll do feedback as usual on Friday. So as you can see, there's not actually a lot of stuff for you to do on the site this week because I'm asking you really to focus on the reading. Week 5, there will be a lecture about research, which is a really important element of this paper. And so you'll have a lecture and a quiz on that, and then you'll have a discussion post due on Monday, along with lots of reading, and another discussion post due on Wednesday, along with reading. And then you have an outline of your essay due that Thursday of week 5. And then something a little bit new, by the Sunday of week 5, but you're welcome to do it before, by that Sunday you have a quiz on the entire book. So it's a reading quiz about the book. It's an open book quiz, which means you can use your book. It's not testing your memorization, but you need to have done the reading in order to do well on this quiz because your time is limited. You'll have 60 minutes to do it. And I'll give you examples of good quiz answers and all of that. Okay, and then finally we'll be coming into the final week of the course, and you'll see you're really focusing on the writing of your paper at that point. You have a rough draft due. We haven't done that yet, but you'll be writing a rough draft, and that's going to be peer review, which is due. The rough draft is due on Monday, and then the response is due Tuesday. And then your final paper is due on Wednesday, the 25th. The The last day of our class is technically the 26th, but your paper is due on Wednesday night. Last point, which is really important, that we have a small grace period for that final paper of 1 day. If you don't if you don't submit your paper by the end of Thursday, that's the end of our class, and you'll get a 0 on that paper, and you won't pass the class. So obviously, you do not want to do that. You want to make sure you have the time to do that. And with the rough draft, I'm hoping that it makes sure that you don't procrastinate on this. It's a big paper. It's 2,000 words, and we're going to need time and to do the research and all of that. So hopefully you won't find yourself in that situation. All right, I think that's enough for now. I really looking forward to the kinds of discussions that might happen with this book and to read your research papers ultimately. Any questions about anything, as always, let me know. Look forward to seeing you guys on the site.